CinemaJaw is brought to you by Cards Against Humanity. They asked us not to read an ad. Enjoy the show. You're listening to CinemaJaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on Division Street in Chicago. My name is Matt Kay, and with me is
Rye the Movie Guy. And sitting alongside us, as always, is our engineer and local filmmaker, Elias Rodriguez.
How's it going, Jawheads?
This week on CinemaJaw, Matt, I put a hit on your head as we cover our top 5 favorite hitmen in movies.
I don't know if you could afford the price that my pelt would bring.
50 cents? I can't afford 50 cents.
$2.50.
I don't even, I doubt it would be over $1.
Come on. No, a lot of people want me dead. Don't underestimate the market on my life.
Favorite hitmen because John Wick 2 is coming out.
Wow.
Yes.
Is this a Keanu sequel?
Yes, a Keanu sequel.
Those are always great.
And John Wick was quite the hitman. So in honor of John
the only
Wick,
thing better than Keanu sequels are Keanu remakes.
His crappy remakes of The Day the Earth Stood Still?
I'm not talking about his remakes. I'm talking about movies he was in that are remade.
Such as?
Point Break.
Oh, that was terrible as well.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right. I see your point.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you.
We also have a great guest who's going to be joining us this week, too.
Yes, Patrick Bromley from the F This Movie podcast, a guy we've been circling around for a long time. Very excited to have him on the show.
Yeah, can't wait to talk to Patrick. He got started right around when we got started here on CinemaJaw. He started F This Movie right after. So we're right in the same boat.
Same boat.
So
same city, same boat.
Yeah, be interesting to talk to Patrick. Besides that, we got a whole lot more going on, don't we, Elias?
Yes, as you were saying, we are going eye for an eye on John Wick Chapter 2.
And we have a review of Lion.
Nice.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, and also since we are going eye for an eye on John Wick 2, I thought what better time than to play John movie trivia. Think of movies that have John in the title.
Okay. This isn't like John, like a guy who goes out and purchases...
Nope.
Okay.
There's a lot of interesting John movie titles. So
there is.
Yeah, yourself versus Patrick in John movie trivia.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. And did you notice also what's coming out? I'm super excited about this. Mm-hmm. A Lego Batman movie. What do you mean, You're totally into superheroes. You loved the Lego movie. It was like your favorite movie of the year that year. And you love Batman. You got to be super stoked for this.
No, I am. I mean, like, I got a kid and everything. But here's the thing. They're never going to recapture that magic from the original Lego movie.
Of course they are.
No.
Yeah.
This is going to be crap.
No, I can't believe you're saying that. I mean, Lego Batman, I think this is going to be awesome.
This is a McDonald's toy. It's a licensed Burger King.
CinemaWAR. Ooh, Patrick's going to have his hands full right there, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Hands full with minifigs.
Yes. So it's already a jam-packed jaw, Matt. But as we mentioned, when we started this year out, we had mentioned the riddles from last year were very popular. And we had said that we would now do a riddle a month. So we are entering February now.
We are. Actually, when this drops, it will be February.
Yes, it will. So we have the winner of the January riddle.
We do.
Yeah. We are going to announce that and also do a February riddle. And one thing that I did want to mention to the Jawheads, this hit me while I was driving in the car. I thought, it's just like the crossword puzzles. They get harder as the weeks go on.
What song was on the radio?
I don't remember. But it was, like the New York Times crossword puzzles. They get harder each day. So Monday's the easiest, so forth, right?
Sure.
So why not make the riddles progressively harder as the year goes on? Doesn't that sound good?
It does. I don't know if you did that this month, but
we'll see. January, February, March, a little bit easier, and then we're going to get harder and harder until December comes. No one is going to answer our riddle. There will be no correct answers by December.
Okay. I actually really enjoy that challenge. That's good.
So it's good for the Jawheads.
If I can get the February riddle, though, you're off to a bad start.
All right. Well, before we get to the February riddle, one more time, the January riddle, Matt.
It was this. I have been in a remake of a classic sci-fi film. I have played a samurai. Sandra Bullock has fallen in love with me from the way I write. She has also given me a ride, and I have only appeared in one Jack Nicholson film. Who am I?
And the correct answer is, and you see how this comes full circle, how we're on top of everything, Matt.
I know, it's kind of
ironic. The answer was Keanu Reeves.
Yes, and the winner was...
We pulled this name out of a hat.
We did.
And we had quite a few.
We did, actually. It's always actually very impressive how many come in right away and then trickle throughout the month. The winner was Robert Bauer from Sacramento, California. So congrats, Robert. We're going to send something out your way.
Yeah, definitely. Email us your address, feedback@cinemajaw.com. We'll get a prize pack out to you. That brings us
February.
to the February riddle, Matt. Progressively harder, slightly, I hope.
I don't know.
But still on the easy side since we're at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your February riddle.
I have played 2 different presidents of the United States. One while he was in office, the other when he was out of office. I have played a famous director in a movie. I have been Brad Pitt's dad, and I have also been the father of a god. I have won Oscar and have played the character I won for in 3 different films. Who am I?
If you know the answer to our February riddle, you have all the way until the end of February to write us. Feedback@cinemajaw.com. Let us know where you're writing in from. We like to know where all the jawheads are writing into.
Yeah, please do. And so that's roughly the next 3-4 episodes.
That's great, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and we will read that riddle at the end of this episode as well.
Indeed.
All right. So without further ado, Matt, we got to bring in our guest. As you said, we've been circling around this guy for a while. We know of F the Movie podcast and blog. It got started here in 2010. Fellow film critic in Chicago. We all love movies. Patrick Bromley, welcome to CinemaJaw.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Braving it all the way from the burbs. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Yeah, thank you guys for guiding me here. Quite literally.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You say you're not that good with directions. You rely heavily on GPS.
I do, and when it fails me, I fail you. So I apologize, but thank you guys so much for having me. This is cool.
Yeah, awesome. So as I mentioned, you started F This Movie podcast and also blog. Did they both start at the same time, the podcast and blog, or did one come first?
The podcast started first, and we were just kind of podcasting once a week, kind of out into the void. And then very slowly, I started adding content on a semi-weekly basis. And then more and more, I was starting to write every day. And then I was thinking, well, I can't keep up with that. So then I brought in other writers. And so, yeah, now we post a couple of pieces a day.
And how many writers do you guys have on staff?
Well, it's in a state of flux right now because a few people just stepped away, I think, for a mental health break or to pursue other projects. So right now we've got 7 or 8 probably.
Wow. That's considerable.
Yeah. So, and it's, friends or even people that we've found through the process of running the site, people who were regular commenters. And then I got to know over email, and then I would say, hey, do you ever write? And they do. And it's worked out great. So.
Now, it's easy to be from Chicago and say that we were heavily influenced by Siskel and Ebert and sort of the love of film criticism. And I think that guided not only me, but Matt in a lot of ways to love talking about film, especially on this podcast format. It almost seems perfect for it. Is that somewhat how you got started, or were you always interested in film criticism even when you were younger?
I've always been interested in film criticism. I would read Roger Ebert religiously every Friday. I would wake up as early as I could to read his reviews, and I would watch Siskel and Ebert every week. So yeah, he's always been a huge role model and inspiration, and I've just always loved to talk about movies and write about movies. And so when this technology came along, and I, even starting in 2010,
it was still pretty nascent even then.
Yeah, and yet I still feel like, I'm late to the game. You know what I mean? Because there's people who dug in very early. And so it was just a fun way to get together with my friends and talk about movies the way we would, just in life. And so to be able to record it and put it out there and kind of expand the conversation to a larger audience has been really cool.
Yeah, it sure is. I think me and Matt have commented that some of the joys of doing the podcast, yes, we get to meet up and argue our points to each other each week, but then the turnaround is getting the feedback from the listeners that write us the email, and they either agree with Matt, which is, utterly ridiculous.
Shut up.
but hearing from the fans and making that somewhat, communal connection where it's like, oh, this is really interesting because we're reaching out to the fans and they're reaching back out to us, talking about something that we all clearly love. So.
Yeah, that's been my favorite part of it so far. We have a pretty active comments section and on our site, and so we have a lot of regular visitors who are active, and so yeah, getting to know all those different voices and tastes and having them recommend stuff has been really, really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Now, we just wrapped up 2016, and a lot of podcasters, a lot of movie critics do their top 10. Your number one movie, at least, of last year, hit it with us.
My number one movie of last year was The Handmaiden.
Nice.
Oh man,
Was also on my top 10. Not number one, but on mine as well.
That movie just blew me away and I've always been a fan of Park Chan-wook, but I just thought this was so different for him and so beautiful and so funny and playful and just so not what I expected it to be in the best possible way.
Now, and anything with the Oscar nominations that you were excited about? Do you get into the Oscars at all? Or do you sort of just bash the Academy and not like it as much? Or?
I am kind of neither. I think, growing up, I was way into the Oscars. And then at a certain point, I just kind of realized, like, you know what, this isn't for me. A lot of people love it, and it turns a lot of people on to movies, which is great. But I find it hard to get too excited about anything, because for every one nomination that I feel like, ooh, they got that right, there's 3 that they got wrong. And if I can't get upset about the ones they got wrong, I can't get upset about the ones they got right. So I just kind of stay out of the whole thing.
I have a question going back a little further, or stepping away from the podcasting and all that stuff. What is it that got you involved in film, or I should say, what got you interested from the beginning when you were a little kid, or whenever it was that this bug bit you? What was it?
I wish I knew, honestly, because I don't have a specific memory of like the one thing or the one movie that
You're
really
at a
turned me
sleepover
onto
and you see
it.
Ghostbusters.
Right. I don't know what it was. As literally as early as I can remember, it's all I wanted to do was watch movies and talk about movies and read books about movies. And growing up, I didn't even listen to music. I only listened to like soundtracks.
Really?
And I would read novelizations of movies.
So you're a film nerd going all the way back, huh?
As far back as I can remember, truly. And I don't know what the thing is that turned me on to it, but it's all I've ever.
All right, then let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
Let me ask it this way. What is the earliest film you can remember seeing that affected you?
I remember once, and these had to be re-releases because I would have been too young to actually remember this. I think I remember my family taking us to the drive-in to see
nice.
Close Encounters.
Oh, wow.
And I was too young. Again, it had to be a re-release because I think that's before my time. But I
Sure.
remember craning my neck trying to see the King Kong remake on the other screen. That's what I wanted to be seeing.
Oh, wow. What an interesting experience.
Yeah, that's an early memory. And then I remember like going to see E.T. and just sobbing.
Did you... Also, very good experience. Did you ever get to see that King Kong remake? I mean...
Not theatrically, but I've seen it a dozen times on TV.
Okay, yeah.
It's not that great, but I love it.
No, are we talking about the Jeff Bridges one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all grew up with that one. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd see it on TV. I loved it as well.
Yeah.
I'm a fan
So
of
what do
Jeff
you,
Bridges.
just curious real quick, what did you think of the most recent remake with Peter Jackson's entry?
The year that it came out, I really loved it. Like I put it really high in my top 10. It gave me this experience that I was like, that's so fun. And it's this movie that kind of celebrates being a movie in the best way. And I have never once felt compelled to go back to it.
Same.
It's identical to my feelings. I had it on my top 10 list. I was already doing my blog at that time.
The bug scene is pretty amazing.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, the whole Skull Island is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really thrilling. And I remember thinking, wow, the special effects were amazing. But
Naomi
wow,
Watts,
I've only
yeah.
seen it that one time and have really no interest to ever go back and watch it again.
So, I mean, not to get too into the weeds here, but I got to ask, because me and Ryan have been arguing about this quite a bit. Are you excited about the new one? Not so much?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm all for a new King Kong movie. I'm a little nervous. I don't know your guys' feelings about Jurassic World.
Didn't like it.
It sucked.
Okay, good. So I'm skeptical now. This new model of like, oh, you made this little Sundance movie. Let's hand you $100 million franchise, which is exactly what's happened. What happened with Jurassic World, and is exactly what's happening with Kong Skull Island. I've only seen the one trailer. I thought it looked kind of cool. I hear there's going to be a bunch of monsters in it. Like I'm down for all that, but I've learned to not get my hopes up too high.
Yeah, but I know they are eventually going to get to Godzilla versus King Kong.
Right.
Is supposed to be this big,
I think
sort
it's
of series.
That'll be an event.
That will be an event. But what I was going to say was I was worried about Godzilla when it came out. I wasn't really that excited for it. And then yet when we went and saw it, it was an event type film. It was exciting. Special effects were great. It did what it was supposed to do. It was a big, fun movie. And I think King Kong's going to do the same. So
I hope so.
it's got a great cast. If anything else, we got a great cast.
From
in
the
it.
guy who poo-poos every single Marvel movie, you're excited for King Kong.
Well, how many Marvel movies do we have now? I mean, they're coming every other month.
At least, 4 per year.
It's ridiculous.
3, 4, couple to a tree.
Look at how happy he is over there.
I'm excited. Anyway, sorry. We're off topic here.
Yeah, Jesus. And how many movies would you say in a given calendar year? Do you have a number roughly that you go through? My big complaint is I don't get around to seeing movies a second time anymore.
No, I don't either. And I used to see movies 5 or 6 times, even theatrically. Like when I was single and working, some dumb job or whatever, I would just keep going back and back. Last year, I think I saw around 700 movies.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a lot of films, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not all of them were first time watches,
Yeah, right.
obviously. But yeah, it was around 700.
That is impressive.
All right, so first, let's narrow this down a little bit. First time watches, because no counting ones you've seen before.
Oh, I didn't break it down that way. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But still
it's
well
gotta
over
be-
100. I mean,
Yeah, I would think
yeah,
so.
absolutely. Yeah. Holy.
Yeah. I mean, I would say at least half of those are first time
Yeah,
watches.
probably 300 at least. That is impressive.
Patrick is putting us to shame.
Yeah.
At least me, for
Well,
sure.
I didn't keep track of all of them, but I did my new movies of the year, and
Yeah.
I had my high at 118.
Okay.
So I thought, damn, that was good. But
Yeah.
boy, now Patrick is 700 movies in 1 year.
I don't sleep, so it's fine.
I might be at like 89, maybe approaching the 100 mark, but wow. That's good, man.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, for the listeners here, the jawheads we call them, that have not checked out F This Movie, the best place to follow you online, follow all your good stuff, your reviews, and all that good stuff.
The site is fthismovie.net, and we're on Twitter just at fthismovie. We have a Facebook page, and we're on iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff. But yeah, fthismovie.net is probably home base.
Do it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we like to end all of our guest interviews with some silly cinema cues. Get to know the guest through the eye of the lens. Elias, you got something in the canon?
Yes. So, Patrick, on your website, it says movie love for movie lovers. So if you can profess your love to any movie director in history in 1 minute, what would you say?
Oh my gosh.
And who's the director?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be silly, but it's deep.
Putting you on the spot.
I think I'm going to profess my love to Toby Hooper, and I'm going to say, Toby, baby, nobody understands you the way I do. And I know that Hollywood has hurt you after that whole Poltergeist thing, but I'm still here, Toby. I didn't run, and I believe that you directed Poltergeist, Toby. And I got your back, Toby, so let's do this.
Wow. Holy moly.
And Toby Hooper of Texas Chainsaw fame, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That was nice. I
man
was
after my
I
own
was
heart.
like getting involved emotionally there.
Wow. Didn't expect that.
I was sitting there with my hands underneath my chin like, wow, this is exciting.
So before the show, we were talking, and we found out that we both went to the same high school,
Yes.
Elk Grove High School. The Grenadiers, which is an interesting mascot, the French grenade thrower. So if they, let's say they honored you for the contributions you've done for the film community, would you go and accept that award?
Oh,
for that?
of course. As long as they handed me at the homecoming assembly when they used to present the grenade, it was a ball of tinfoil. So if they were going to give me the ceremonial ball of tinfoil, yes, I would be there.
Nice. Good. You're a better person than I am. Because
You wouldn't go, come
screw
on.
that place.
Aw.
I just love the mascot. What is it again?
The Grenadier.
That is awesome. I was a road runner. How about yourself, Matt?
Rebel.
Oh, you did go to high school.
I did, yes.
See, that's nice. All mascots you don't have to explain.
Yes.
We always had to say, what's a grenadier? Oh, well, see, it's a... Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
That's all.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Good times. All right. So Patrick is going to be sitting in on this entire jaw. He has his top 5 favorite movie hitmen. Brings us to a segment called Eye for an Eye. Elias?
Eye for an Eye. Interested or ignore? John Wick Chapter 2. Continuing the story of the very successful first film, John Wick returns to the criminal underworld to repay a debt, but discovers that a large bounty has been put on his life. The film stars Keanu Reeves, Ruby Rose, Common, and Lawrence Fishburne. It will be the first time Fishburne and Reeves have collaborated since the Matrix trilogy. It is directed by stuntman turned director Chad Stahelski, who directed the first John Wick as well. We throw it over to Rye.
You know what's sort of crazy is I think the original film, which I ended up really enjoying, and I try very hard to go into these movies without expectations, but it's impossible. You know who the director is, you know the source material, you
Right.
know the actor, so you always go in with some type of expectation. And I think I was going in with like the lowest expectation for John Wick when it came out, so it had that on its side. So then when I saw it, I was like, wow, John Wick was really a good movie.
Suck.
And I enjoyed it. Now I'm actually somewhat excited for John Wick 2, and that is what has got me a little worried here. Why the hell am I excited for John Wick 2? But I am interested in chapter 2. Matt?
Me? Okay. I'm going to admit right on the face, I did not see John Wick.
And we do have it in our streaming cloud, so you can see
Do we?
it. Yes, we do.
Okay. No doubt you're doing. I will watch the first one, but man, I'm so over Keanu Reeves. I mean, this guy, he hasn't done anything good in, what is it, like 15 years now? Ignore.
Patrick, interested or ignore on John Wick Chapter 2?
Definitely interested. I'm a big fan of John Wick, and I have to admit, I have been a Keanu Reeves apologist my entire life. I've even gone to see his band play back in the 1990s, and I was a big fan of John Wick. I'm a big action movie fan, and John Wick was one of the better action movies I've seen in several years. So I'm definitely interested.
But you know what I mean when I was saying it had low expectations, right? I mean, you probably being a Keanu fan maybe didn't have those same low expectations, but you know where I'm coming from. It was like, what is this? I didn't even know what John Wick is. It is based on a graphic novel, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that. I was like, this is just going to be a throwaway film. And then when I saw it, I was like, wow, talk about stylized action and really well done. So,
well, maybe I'll feel differently after I actually check out the first one. I'm definitely going to do it before we go see it.
Yeah, sounds good. Elias, what do you got on John Wick Chapter 2?
I have also not seen the first one. I've been meaning to. This is good to know that we can watch it all together, me and Matt. I am very interested. The trailer actually looks pretty solid.
I'm the only ignore? Come on.
Wow. 3 interesteds, 1 ignore, and that ignore comes from Matt K.
Yeah, it comes from a place of ignorance.
Yes.
I'll admit it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Ignorance. Oh, man.
Ignorance. There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's probably the first movie I'm excited for in 2017. I enjoyed Split, but I wasn't like excited to see it, I guess. Sure. Another one that sort of surprised me a little bit. So this one I'm actually, I guess, best way to say it is first movie I'm sort of anticipating.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, got a little tingle for it. Speaking of new movies, we caught Lion, didn't we?
We did, yes. Lion is the tale of a lost little boy who grows up into a lost little boy in a man's body. It is the tale of Saru.
Gudu? Gudu?
I have to find my way back home. How long were you on the train? A couple of days. A couple of days.
It would take a lifetime to search all the stations in India.
Do you have any idea what it's like? How every day my real brother screams my name.
I always thought that I could keep this family together.
I need you, Saru.
What if you do find home and they're not even there? And you just keep searching?
I don't have a choice.
Saru is a young boy, too young to know his surname or his address, but old enough to help his big brother scavenge for scraps to trade for food in their village in India. When his big brother agrees to take Saru on the night work, they become separated and thus begins a journey for Saru that will last his entire lifetime. This film is told in 2 halves, getting lost with young Saru and finding our way with the grown-up Saru. Both actors are excellent, conveying so much with very little dialogue. Sunny Pawar as young Saru is so adorable that your heart will actually break for this kid. And Dev Patel puts in an equally likable performance as the grown Saru. Nicole Kidman pops up in a supporting role that is excellent, and although her screen time is limited, she is at her best in this maternal role. I found the 2 halves to be a little uneven, but this is a minor complaint for what is a visual storytelling achievement. Bring a box of Kleenex to this tearjerker. It's based on a true story, and this movie makes me want to read the book. 4 Jaws. Loved it.
4 Jaws, a perfect score from Matt K.
So beautiful, like visually, and the beats. Like I said, there's so little dialogue in this film. They just have to get a lot across with the imagery, which I really appreciate as somebody who reads comic books and stuff. Like, the more you can show, I honestly think sometimes dialogue is a crutch. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a visual storytelling medium, and man, it just like There's a scene early on, I'm not spoiling anything, where Saru is just standing in this valley and he's surrounded by butterflies. In fact, I believe it's the opening. And
we see this image a couple of times throughout the film.
we do. He comes back to it as he's starting to remember things when he's grown. But it's just such a beautiful image, and the landscape of India, and then later on we see a bit of Australia. Just everything's framed so wonderfully. It's very much a visual movie.
It is. Now, you mentioned that you think that the two halves were a little uneven. Do you think that the first half was stronger? Or the second? I'm wondering.
No, I think the first half was stronger.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were in agreement on that. So when it's young Saru and we're seeing the expanse of India,
so involved emotionally.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't stop watching the movie. I was totally into it. I think it does tail off in the second half. That's why I wouldn't give it a perfect 4 stars for me. We did not mention Rooney Mara plays the girlfriend. I think is just terribly miscast.
Total throwaway.
I don't know why they put her in the film. I would have much rather an unknown in that role because it was distracting.
It didn't distract me.
It distracted me, and her character was not that important to the story.
Not at all.
So it was like, why is she in this movie? And I don't know. That bothered
I guess
me.
they needed to root him in adulthood or something with this girlfriend type character.
And I do. Obviously, it is based on a true story, and probably the
that was in the book.
Probably was encouraging
now wife
encouraging to have him try to find his original family.
I want to read this book.
So that was very fascinating. But the first half of the film with this young Saru, I agree. This boy is just cute as hell. Like you really feel sorry for him when he gets separated from his brother. And I mean, again, the landscape of India is shown so beautifully. It reminds me a lot of, I think when we saw Slumdog Millionaire, it gave you a new appreciation for India just in general, the culture, because we hadn't quite seen it shown that way on film. And same with this in a different way. But I mean, it's gorgeous. Some of the and it's in sometimes poor areas of India, but there's a beauty to it. It's a wonderful first half of film.
I will say that the contrast they managed to portray between the original, the poorness and the everything's dilapidated and decaying in India, and then when they get to Australia, without spoiling anything, everything's so pristine and clean. That was interesting. But yeah, the second half lags, and the love interest is garbage.
Yeah, but it's interesting too how the first half had to be super strong in order to make that whole emotional connection at the end. And you see those constant flashbacks that he has of missing his family, and that would never work if it wasn't for that first half that was just stellar.
It wouldn't have worked. That's true.
I would go 3 Jaws because I think the ending does have
it brings
some
it back,
issues.
doesn't it?
It has some issues.
Oh, some issues. The very ending.
No,
the
not the
emotional
very ending.
payout?
I'm saying the second half. The second half in general has some issues.
Because for me, and I know Patrick is like, I haven't seen this movie, guys, but like the emotional, let's just say the payoff at the end definitely is what earned this thing its 4th star for me.
Yeah. Tears in your eyes?
Oh, I broke down. I was a blubbering mess. It really, really got to you. This movie will devastate you if you have children. Frankly, even if you don't, I think it's a tearjerker for sure.
Matt, would you say that scene at the end was your favorite scene?
No. My favorite scene. Oh, the scene at the end. Yes, reunited. I'm calling it. Yeah, that's my favorite scene.
I would say it's tough not to say that because you're right. I definitely had tears in my eyes. But I actually really appreciate it. And I actually watched this about a month ago. And then when we decided to review this, there's nothing worse than trying to review a movie after seeing it a month ago. And I hadn't wrote down my thoughts. So I tried to cram in a second viewing last night and at least watch sort of refresh myself. And so the scene that I really loved was with Dev Patel when he is actually searching for his home on Google Maps.
Google Earth.
And he's actually having those flashbacks to young Saru. And you're seeing the Google image and then his memory of the image of the landscape of India. And he's starting to well up in tears as he thinks he's sort of onto something here. Those flashbacks were, I thought, spectacular.
Nice. Did you have trouble with any scene? Maybe all of Rooney Mara's, right?
I mean, the romantic relationship, it feels a little tacked on. But maybe it needed that emotional anchor, in general, I guess. And I'm also really not a fan. I'm not a fan of the pop song montage at the end where they show the actual people. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. They did in Deepwater Horizon too. The movie was awesome, and then this pop song comes on that just feels completely out of place with the melodramatic music they had throughout. and they show the actual characters. I'm like, am I watching a made-for-TV movie? What's going on? That sucked.
Yeah, and the actual characters never look as good as the movie stars, so you're always like, what the heck? What? That was Nicole Kidman's character? What?
Actually, I thought the casting was great.
No, I would say problem that I had, and it wasn't really so much with the movie, but it was just a disturbing scene, was Nicole Kidman and her husband actually adopted 2 kids from India.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did appreciate about the movie, as I was mentioning to Matt before we started recording, was that there were really no, like, quote unquote, evil people in the film. So even the people who adopted them, there's no conflict there. They were really nice people.
Right.
To
No
them.
abusive parents.
Right.
Right.
So it's a nice story all around that way. But they did adopt 2 kids from India, and his brother clearly has issues, emotional problems
yeah.
with the idea of always going to
maybe
move
even
over
psychological problems
to live in Australia. Exactly. And there's that dinner scene where Rooney Mara, he brings her there, and it's, I don't know, it's just sort of forced because Rooney Mara again seems out of place, and it's the girlfriend meeting the family, and of course the brother has this wacko scene where he starts hitting himself in the head with a fork, and it was just a disturbing scene, but it just seemed forced. That would be my scene that I
agree.
had problems with.
Any movie influences?
You know, this one was really tough for me. It's easy to say Slumdog Millionaire, but other than that, and maybe that's just because of the parts of India that it shows, I don't have anything.
It's because you don't think, Matt.
Okay,
That's what
I didn't think.
You
Okay,
don't think.
Ryan, educate me, will you, please?
Homeward Bound, okay, with the dogs fighting.
You know,
their way
that's
home.
funny. I was really thinking the same thing. I thought it would be insulting.
No, it's the same premise, right?
I
They're
guess,
trying to
except
get home.
one is people and the other is...
And then I went with Philomena with, now I can't think of the actress's name.
Is that Judi Dench?
Yes, Judi Dench. Yes.
All right, you've redeemed yourself.
There you go.
Somewhat.
Those two. Those were influences for me.
Did you guys learn anything from this movie?
Yes. When somebody tells you, wait here, I'll be right back, you wait there.
I would go with, and this may sound ignorant of me to say, but that the idea that India has such different languages in the country that one person can travel from one area to India and just travel across the other side, and they literally cannot understand him.
Right.
And if they're in India, I mean, again, could be ignorant of me. I just didn't know that.
It's 1,200 miles that this kid traveled.
True, but I'm saying, I mean, obviously here, if you traveled from New York and you went to Los Angeles, everybody's still speaking English.
True,
you know what I mean?
true.
So I didn't know that there was such a divide that he would just go on another side of India and no one could understand where he was from.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How about a one-word review?
India.
India?
Yeah.
Home.
Hey, that's a pretty good one, Matt.
There you go.
You finally put your thinking cap on. Doesn't
There
it
you
feel
go.
good?
It does, Ryan.
All right, I'm giving Lion 3 Jaws.
4 from me.
4 for Matt Kay. Like
This is a great
said,
movie.
Yeah, nominated for some Oscars. So hopefully you get out there.
Best
and see
supporting
it.
for Nicole Kidman. Huh?
Yes, and
Yeah.
also for Dev Patel. And
I think
Best
that's a little
Picture.
generous for Kidman. It was a good performance. I don't know if it's the best performance.
Yeah,
so.
Dev Patel may even be straight up actor. Maybe it isn't supporting actor. Throw it in the job box.
Dev Patel
Make
would
sure
be-
we're right.
yeah, he'd be
I'm not
acting.
positive on that.
All right,
so
I'll look it
yeah.
up.
But yeah, if you've seen Lion or you see it after this review and you have Twitter pulled up, shoot us a tweet at CinemaJaw. Let us know what you guys thought.
No hitmen.
No, but we are going or did go eye for an eye on John Wick 2, and that is our topic this week.
All right.
And Patrick from F This Movie is getting us started. Did you have a tough time with the list? How'd you go about it?
I chose, let's see. I overshot and I did a few extra. And
Always good.
We got
Always
we got
good.
honorable mentions for sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do that on purpose because I feel like when you're giving out lists, it's always better to give people more options than fewer. So I didn't want to have any. I didn't want to double up on any of the ones that you guys said. So I had some alternates so that people would
is
get
good.
15 instead of just 10.
Nice. The jawheads like that.
Sure. My first one is do I just go right into it?
Yeah, Sure. we got it at number 5.
My first one might be a cheat. I didn't totally rank these. This might be a cheat. I don't know if everyone would consider this a hitman. I went with the Terminator from the original Terminator.
Good one.
Yeah, not on my list, but definitely did think about it. Yeah. The only reason not because we've talked about the Terminator, obviously it comes up quite a bit, but yeah, totally a hitman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's a hired killer who's sent to murder somebody.
Right.
Hitman.
All right, cool.
Matt, what do you got sitting there?
At number 5, I have Martin Q. Blank from Gross Point Blank.
Glad this came up.
In honesty, I'd almost rather give it to Aykroyd's character in the film because of the whole popcorn thing. I love this movie. I think it's undersung, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, it's one that I would love to revisit. That I've only maybe seen twice, and it's been a long time since I've seen the film. I think I would enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Swings it over to my number 5, and a lot of times on these lists, as I mentioned each and every week, I try hard to come up with
a documentary.
No, a Woody Allen film. No, I'm kidding. Films that I haven't talked about a lot on CinemaJaw, and here is one I'm pretty sure I've never mentioned on any top 5 list ever. It came out in 2005. Pierce Brosnan was the hitman in The Matador. You seen this one, Matt?
I've not seen it.
This one stars. Have you seen it by chance?
He's hired to kill Greg Kinnear, maybe?
No, well, him and Greg Kinnear end up meeting like while they're on vacation.
Yeah.
And Greg Kinnear is like a business guy. He's married, and they end up going to like a bullfighting, hence the name, the Matador. And then flash forward like 6 months later, and Pierce Brosnan, who is this assassin on one of his last jobs, comes to live with Greg Kinnear and ask him for help on the job. It's a dark comedy, but you can see the contrast on why it would be so funny. You got the suave Pierce Brosnan character with the businessman that doesn't know what the hell he's doing in Greg Kinnear. Comedy ensues, and it's actually a really solid movie. I would say one of the better Pierce Brosnan movies that's not a James Bond film.
That's saying a lot.
It is. Well, there is.
I mean, what about Mrs. Doubtfire here?
Come on. But that was a little role. This was like he's the main character in the movie, is what I mean in The Matador.
What about Lawnmower Man? I could toss out these Pierce Brosnan flicks all day.
I'll stick with The Matador. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out. That's my number 5. We're into our 4s.
My number 4 I wanted to include because this actor just passed away, and so I wanted to honor him by including him on the list, and that is Mitchell Braddock, the character that John Hurt played in Stephen Frear's The Hit.
I have not seen this.
It's a really good one. Tim Roth, Terrence Stamp, kind of a early 84, kind of an existential hitman movie. Takes a lot of turns, a lot of surprises, and John Hurt is characteristically incredible.
Yeah, let's talk about John Hurt for a second. That was sort of crushing to hear that he had passed away. I love when he pops up in a movie, especially something like V for Vendetta.
He was just in Jackie, which would, I guess, be his last credit, would it not?
Well,
Unless he has something
I would
coming
imagine
out.
he has something coming out.
I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Throw it in the jaw box, Elias. John Hurt. What else does he have something
Just
coming
check his
up?
IMDb.
Yeah. So nice pick at number 4. I'll have to check that one out.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Though.
Do you know what year did The Hit come out? Do you know?
84.
84?
Yeah.
All right. I'll put that in my queue.
So at number 4, I have Jules from Pulp Fiction. He's a bad motherfucker, Rye. I mean, here we have, it's easy to point to Vincent Vega, and I don't know if one of you guys have him on your list, but Jules is really the one who is kind of the more cold. I mean, he has his existential crisis in the middle of the movie and comes to God or whatever it is that happens in Pulp Fiction. But when he's in that room with a bunch of stoners who have the briefcase and he has the guy in the chair and he's like, what ain't no country I ever heard of? I mean, were we not all like glued to our seats and like, oh my God, this guy's like a cold-blooded killer? Jules is definitely the scarier of the two. So that's who I'm giving it to. And he was a hitman.
I was a fan of Jules over
Vincent Vega.
Vincent Vega. Yeah, definitely Jules all the way.
Vincent Vega was sort of the date scene aside, as a hitman, he was a bit of a failure.
Yeah. I mean, he blew that guy away in the car by accident.
Yeah, by accident.
What kind of hitman does that?
I don't know.
No hitman worth his salt dies on the toilet.
That too.
Yeah. Double whammy. All right, swings it over to my number 4. And I would actually say that this actor, if I said that this actor was an excellent hitman right away, you would think, no, I don't think he could pull it off, but he sure did. Speaking of Tom Hanks, did play a hitman.
He did.
Yeah, in 2002's Road to Perdition. And I love this movie. Sam Mendes directed, obviously shot a lot here in Chicago and surrounding towns, and had a beautiful throwback to the bygone era with the old cars and the Prohibition.
1920s. So.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you got a wonderful role in there by Paul Newman as well. I like when I go back and I watch Road to Perdition, which I have seen quite a few times. And I think that early scene where him and it's actually James Bond, Daniel Craig, kill some people. It's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I was a big fan. You like it?
Yeah, I do like it.
I liked it when I saw it. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember liking it and liking Tom Hanks kind of playing a darker character. I thought that was interesting.
I agree.
Something I got to revisit.
It's a good one.
I haven't seen it in years.
All right, we're into our threes. Patrick, what do you got?
Oh, my number 3 we were just talking about, and maybe this is not a great pick because a couple of you guys haven't seen it, but I went with John Wick.
I have seen John Wick,
He
sure.
shoots everyone in the head in that movie. Like, there's a scene in a nightclub where he just tears through an army of human beings and shoots everyone in the head. He's like the most skillful hitman ever, and it's so much fun to watch him work.
And another thing is, I think we've mentioned when Keanu Reeves gets the right role when he was...
Okay, let's examine that sentence
Yeah.
here.
When Keanu Reeves gets the right role.
What was the right role for Keanu?
Well, obviously, The Matrix obviously was...
Really? That was the right role for him?
Yeah, it was perfect for him. And also,
Really?
go back to Bill and Ted was an excellent role for him as well.
It was excellent, man.
But I would say he can be a very solid actor in the right role. And if you saw John Wick...
No, he can't.
Patrick, back me up here.
Listen.
Is he not perfect in John
Okay.
Wick? He is
Yes.
the perfect hitman in John Wick.
Patrick, I
Yes.
really want to hear this.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think he can be good in the right role. I absolutely agree with that. If you go back and watch River's Edge, if you go back and watch Permanent Record, I think he's really good in Point Break. He has certain qualities that I agree don't translate when he's in like Bram Stoker's Dracula or some things that require a little bit more dramatic, heavy lifting. But I think he has a certain charisma, and I think he has a blankness that is well suited to certain roles.
Yes, a blankness. I like that.
Because of the way you put that, I will agree.
You're just being nice because I'm the
No,
guest.
because
It's okay.
it was the blankness thing. I mean, listen, I don't hate him. I loved him as Neo. Okay. And I'm a big fan of Bill and Ted. And I'm usually the one who's arguing for the lowbrow here on CinemaJaw.
No, but I think this is partly because you have not seen John Wick, because to Patrick's pick here, he is perfect as John Wick and as a hitman. It's one of those roles that if you saw it, you would say, well, it works in some way because of Keanu Reeves.
Okay. You know what? I will suspend this argument until after I see the first John Wick.
And I know you're going to love it. You're going to end up liking it probably more than me and Patrick like it.
And then I'll say, whoa.
Yeah. Nice pick at number 3, Matt. What do you got sitting there?
All right. At number 3, I have Leon, the Professional. I mean, let's get serious here, guys. One of the best movie hitmen of all time is Leon, the Professional. The movie is called The Professional for a reason. You know?
I got to see this movie.
You haven't seen it?
I still have not seen The Professional.
Jesus Christ,
It's a
dude.
confession. I know.
No.
I know.
You should watch it tonight.
You should see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Oldman, for that reason alone, you got to see it. But really, every part of this movie is great. Natalie Portman is amazing. And Jean Reno as the title character. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, you've got to get off your ass and watch Leon.
I
already.
know. This has come up a couple of times on CinemaJaw, and I still have not seen it.
Yeah. This one, put on your queue, put it at the top of your queue. Great hitman movie. And he's very, very professional.
Yes, I will. It's been on my queue for a long time. I do need to see Leon. Swings it over to my number 3, and you know I love me some Michael Shannon. And Michael Shannon played one of the best hitmen just a few years ago. 2012, he played the Iceman. And this was based on the true story of Richard, very similar to your last name, Matt, Richard Koglinski.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's odd. Who worked actually dubbing porn films for a while.
Also similar to mine.
Until a mob boss who's played perfectly by Ray Liotta. When you're thinking mob boss, nowadays, Ray Liotta. Go to him. He's the go-to guy.
And by the way, dubbing porn films, that's a great job. You know? Like, what do you do for a living? Dub porn films.
And what's great is Ray Liotta sort of brings him into the mob. And all told, the Iceman ended up killing, they say, over 100 people, putting hits out on that the mob had. And it's a period piece because this took place, I think, in the 70s and early 80s, like right in that time. So it's got that sort of like throwback feel, and the cheap leather jacket that Michael Shannon wears throughout the film is perfect. He's great in everything, so he's wonderful here. Have you seen this one?
I have not. I feel bad.
The Iceman. It's a good one, Matt.
I love Michael Shannon. Holy
Check
crap.
it out. Yeah. That's my number 3. Highly recommended. We're into our 2s. Patrick.
My number 2, I went with a different Tarantino character. I went with Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. the Bride from Kill Bill. We never actually get to see her, I think, assassinate anyone during her hitman days, but she is a former assassin who is out for a roaring rampage of bloody revenge. And I'm a big Tarantino fan. I like all of his movies. Kill Bill, I wouldn't say is my favorite, but it's the one that I feel like watching the most because it kind of pushes a lot of my different buttons. And Beatrix Kiddo is one of my favorite characters that he's ever written.
I have no arguments with that whatsoever.
Either do I. I agree. We do not see her as an assassin. That sort of stinks, you know? I would have liked like maybe a early scene beforehand.
Well, they're talking about a prequel.
Not a prequel, a sequel.
They are. No, they're talking about a prequel.
Really?
I think, weren't they talking about young Lucy Liu's character?
Oh, really? I hadn't heard. When it comes to Tarantino, there's always like, and then we'll do this spin-off and this sequel, and but I hadn't heard young Lucy Liu.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of things. Who knows? It's all speculation.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kill Bill, and yeah, it's probably the one aside from Pulp Fiction, that I've watched the most times.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good pick there.
All right, sitting at number 2 for me is Alejandro from Sicario.
Wow, good one, Matthew. You threw us a curveball here. Well done.
What? This is Benicio del Toro, and what a cold-blooded guy we have. I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a scene at the end of the film where he corners our protagonist, and he's got her dead to rights, and it's just such a cold scene, and you realize how out of her depth that she is, you know, and she's operating here at the top of government. She's at a very high level.
And this is Emily Blunt that we're talking about here.
Right. Training through the roof. She's, an operative, and she's just an infant in his sights. And I mean, like, it was just, I love Sicario. I think it's very underappreciated, and I think everybody needs to revisit it. And that character was so mysterious and amazing. I think it's one we're going to be talking about in 20, maybe even 30 years from now.
I was a big fan as well.
Yeah, me too. And Benicio del Toro is pretty amazing in that movie.
Yeah, and I don't want to call it.
I
don't want to call it a twist, but when you sort of find out his full story of why, and what he's involved with in this story that we've been watching, is pretty chilling.
It is chilling, but I think they leave just enough to the imagination that it's even more grandiose in your mind. You know, it's a great movie.
Matt, very seldom do I say this. Excellent pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Swings it over to my number 2. This may be a bit pedestrian, but maybe we don't have any Tom Cruise fans here. But finally, Tom Cruise played a darker character. He played a hitman, and there were probably a lot of doubters out there when they heard that he was going to be in this role. But then once you saw him with the gray hair in Collateral, you knew Vincent meant business. I love Collateral, huge fan. And you got Jamie Foxx driving around in a cab. Just the idea. I like movies every once in a while where it's all done in one night. He's got a list. He comes in. He's got X amount of people to assassinate, and he's going to take a cab around to get it all done. The idea is already great. And man, I mean, his direction, the way he sometimes shoots LA is beautiful. I don't know. There was something about Tom Cruise that, again, I just used the word chilling to describe the end of Sicario. I would say Tom Cruise was chilling in Collateral. I loved it. You guys?
Yeah, I'm a big Michael Mann fan, and I'm a big fan of Collateral. I really like that movie, and I really like Tom Cruise in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I still need to catch up with.
Ah, jeez,
I know. Sorry to bring it down, guys.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and if anything, there's such a highlight in the nightclub scene where all hell sort of breaks loose and Tom Cruise is firing his gun around.
Have you seen the supercut of that where they have the Terminator and the guys from Hellraiser and everything?
And they're all in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wick nightclub scene tops them all. I'm telling you.
I believe they cut that one in as well.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, here it is. We are into our number ones. We have not crossed over yet. Patrick, what do you got sitting there, buddy?
We're probably not going to cross over now. My number 1 pick is Ogami Ito from Lone Wolf and Cub, the Lone Wolf and Cub series, or narrow it down from Shogun Assassin. Anyone? Any Shogun Assassin
This
fans?
is a deep pick, man. Yes. I like it. I respect it, but it's a deep pick.
I swear I wasn't trying to go esoteric. It was just, I had just worked my way through the Criterion box set of the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. Shogun Assassin is actually referenced in Kill Bill at the end. Yes. One of the characters says, I want to watch Shogun Assassin. I don't expect you to go through all, I think, 6 Lone Wolf and Cub movies. So if you only have like 85 minutes, just watch Shogun Assassin. It's like the American recut. There's like a synthesizer score over it and some voiceover. And it's like just the greatest hits. And it's bloody and it's awesome.
I like it.
He's the biggest badass in any movie ever.
Really?
This is
bigger than John Wick?
Bigger than John Wick.
That's saying a lot coming from Patrick here, because you see what a John Wick fan he is. Yeah, no, this is one that I've wanted to see for a while, so definitely got to put it on the queue.
I agree.
Yeah. Matt?
All right.
How can you follow up your Sicario pick?
I'm hoping we don't cross over here.
We have to be.
Maybe. So this one is coming from No Country for Old Men. Are we crossing over?
We are. That's fine.
Anton Sugar.
He's the best.
Cold-blooded killer, and really, what about that weapon? The what is that? A cattle?
Like a cattle prod, or
Yeah.
like a pneumatic cattle. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. It's the gun they use to kill cows. It's an air piston.
Right.
He uses it to blow open doors. It's just the most oddball weapon I've ever seen, and he's a very oddball character. Total sociopath, absolute killer, cold blood. I mean, like not an ounce of warm blood in his body.
Yeah, I think the opening where he strangles the cop in the police station, and you see Javier Bardem's like face and his vein, and there's just something that's just ugly about this character. You just fear
gone.
him.
He's
you know?
gone.
Yeah, you see him and you're like, oh my God, this guy doesn't care. He almost is the human embodiment of the Terminator. Like, he is not going to stop. He might not have a metal skeleton underneath him, but who knows? Maybe he does, because this guy would not stop until he was going to finish his goal. In this case, terminate somebody. You know, he is. He's something.
Well said.
Yeah, that was my number one as well. Honorable mention for me, I had Looper with Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who both played Joe in the movie, but they are basically assassins who would shoot people as people traveled back through time. Pulp Fiction, you mentioned. And last but not least, Killer Joe, Matthew McConaughey, who is hired.
Oh, that is a good one.
I forgot about
Yeah.
Killer Joe. That's a good one.
And so that I will throw in there as well. Love that one if you haven't seen it. That was sort of the turnaround for Matthew McConaughey right in that time where it was like, ooh, he's doing some interesting stuff
That's
here.
a great movie, man. The only honorable I had was James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
He's an assassin.
Yeah.
So
Good call.
Any that we missed of yours?
I had Martin Blank on mine. I had Alain Delon's character from The Samurai. I had Forrest Whitaker from Ghost Dog. Any Ghost Dog fans? No? Okay. Really cool movie. It's like a Jim Jarmusch movie where he kind of...
I love Jarmusch.
Forrest Whitaker is like a samurai, modern day samurai working for the mafia, and there's like a whole hip hop angle. It's just this mashup of all this cool stuff. It's a really cool movie. You should check it out. I think that was all I had.
Nice. I'm sure we may have missed somebody's favorite hitman out there. And if you have Twitter pulled up, shoot us a tweet at CinemaJaw. We will retweet it and get the discussion going. What we're going to do is take a quick break. When we come back, Matt is taking Patrick on in John movie trivia, plus a CinemaWAR looking at the Lego Batman movie. We'll be right back on CinemaJaw.
Let's all go to the lobby.
CinemaJaw is brought to you by Horror Movie Yearbook. Horror Movie Yearbook is the latest podcast from the Midwest Podcast Network. In each episode, hosts Tim Long and Willie Gibbs discuss 3 horror films from a particular year and their context in the events of that year. Other topics include theoretical horror movie theme park rides, legal representation, and arguments for horror movie antiheroes, and much, much more. Find new episodes every other Friday on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or at horrormovieyearbook.com. And we thank them for their support. And by K&N Air Filters. Hey, Rye, it's cold out there, man. It's the middle of winter.
Sure is. Hope your car's running okay.
I just went to the mechanic and got my tire pressure, battery, and a new air filter.
Good idea, right?
Yep.
Change your oil and get a new air filter. And what better air filter to get than K&N?
They are the best. They're longtime supporters of CinemaJaw, and they have one of the best air filters on the market. It will increase your horsepower and the performance of your car. We recommend them highly. And hey, guys, if you go to knfilters.com/podcast, you will also get a free hat.
I love my K&N hat.
I do too. Keeps me warm in these cold winter months. And hey, we thank them for their support.
To get ourselves a treat.
And we are back on CinemaJaw, hanging out with Patrick Bromley from F This Movie. As we mentioned, you started in 2010.
Yes.
Do you take weeks off, or do you just plow through and do it every single week?
We've missed 1 week in 6 years.
Now that's
See?
impressive.
That's dedication, right? The movie. He's always like, "Hey, I think we need a week off." I'm like, "What are you talking about, man?
well,
We're
that's
just doing
because
this."
my back hurts from carrying this show. Matt.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I kid.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
It is the reason.
Thick in here.
Well, I'm getting a glare from Matt K. Could be Duke's coming out here. This is good stuff.
Go ahead, go with it.
I'm joking. But no, I was mentioning that. Well, we could almost use a week off because it is sometimes. I know when we do have fun.
It's
doing
a grind.
I don't want to say that it is not fun, but it is a grind. I mean, we're seeing new movies.
Right.
We're doing the reviews. We're doing the podcast. We got to get in touch with the guest. Is the guest coming? There's a lot to it, and that's why I was wondering. How you go about it, and you can pull it off every single week.
Yeah, again, we've just missed the one, and sometimes that means like banking a show. I know like the week my daughter was born, we recorded 2 shows so that we would have one for. And some weeks, last summer we did like an 18-hour live show as a fundraiser, and so that week, because I was like, I can't do this again, we just ran some of the stuff from the fundraiser, as the episode. So it's not like every single week I've recorded a show. But yeah, it definitely can be difficult to just make the time to do it. It's always fun once you're doing it, as you guys know, but sometimes to make the time and make everything work. I mean, our show usually comes out on Wednesday, and there are Monday nights where I'm like, I don't have a show this week. So I have to call some people and be like, hey, you want to jump on and do something for an hour? So yeah, it can definitely be tough, but it's always fun.
And I think what you have going for you is you don't have Matt K on your show. See, now that...
Oh, man. See, I'm the key to this whole operation.
That would really deter you from going on every single week because it's just painful.
Patrick, I wanted to ask you a question. I think it's the elephant in the room, really. What is the inspiration behind the whole F this movie name?
If I had it to do over again, I would not call it that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I like it, because it's kind of funny, but I think when most people hear it, they think, okay, so you guys just make fun of movies, and we don't. And that's kind of, a couple of years into it is when we came up with the movie love for movie lovers that Elias referenced earlier, to let people know that this isn't just a thing where we're just making fun of movies. There are plenty of podcasts that are out there just to rip on movies, and we don't. I don't know. There was just one day where I wanted to do a movie podcast and I couldn't quite think of the angle. And so for some reason that popped in my head and it struck me as funny. And I felt like, well, if people are going to tune into a show called F This Movie, they kind of know what they're going to get in terms of the tone of it. Yeah. So, but again, I think I do think it has kept some people away or turned some people off. And so there's days where I think like, oh, I probably should have called it something else. But 6 years in, there's no changing it now. So.
F this movie.
F this movie it is.
Yeah. So again, even though we're just saying F this movie, the best place to find you online is
fthismovie.net.
Do it.
Yes.
Good stuff. We love when we get fellow film lovers here and podcasters and bloggers. This is great.
Critics.
Yeah, critics. This is what we do and what we love, Matthew.
Especially in Chicago.
I was just giving you a tough time. You know that.
I know.
Yeah.
Did I look offended?
You did. It's all love here on Cinemajaw. It's all love.
Offended. I'm not offended.
Hey, you can hate Elias and have your big fights, but it's all fun at the end of the day.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right, Matt. Before we get to CinemaWAR, before we get to trivia, we did throw some items into the jaw box. And I know Elias wants to pop out and say, F you, Matt K. So let's open up that jaw box.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
The box.
We got a box! What's in the box?
F this Matt K.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I was going to say that Matt's back is hurting from carrying the jaw box.
That's true. I slipped the disc.
Let's just jump right into it, huh? So what was Dev Patel specifically nominated for in the Oscars? It was Best Supporting Actor.
Okay, it is
really
supporting.
interesting.
Yeah,
it's really the lead, right?
No, because it's sort of 2 supporting roles, right? There is no main lead that goes from start to finish in the movie because you got somewhat of the young Saru, and then
I see your point. I just don't know for sure if I agree. He's the lead.
I thought it was supporting. I just wasn't 100% sure. That's why I threw the question in there. It makes sense.
It's odd.
And the next question, does John Hurt have anything else coming out? Yes, there appears to be 4 movies. 2 of them are just small random indies. And one of them that looks the most intriguing is Darkest Hour, which is Winston Churchill leads a charge against Adolf Hitler's army in the early days of World War II. And Gary Oldman plays Winston Churchill. Hopefully they filmed all of his stuff for that.
Does John Hurt play Adolf Hitler?
No. He plays Neville Chamberlain.
Okay.
We'll go with it.
Still interested.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He plays Adolf Hitler's brother, Scott Hitler.
Scott Hitler. An important figure in history.
I just want to see John Hurt some more, so that's all. I wanted to make sure that he had made something else. It was sad to see him go.
Yeah, it is sad to see him go.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's everything? Get back in that jaw box.
Oh, let me comment real quick on the feedback and all the riddles and stuff. This is an exciting one. This was the first one that I heard, and I did not get it right away, so maybe it is pretty tough
This
already.
one?
Yeah.
I got it.
You did.
I
yeah.
did.
Patrick, did you get it?
I got it.
All right.
Okay,
all right. So 2 out of 3.
right,
so it's
well,
not too hard yet. Again, it's only February, so.
Anyway, I do love seeing people write in to our feedback and sending their answers.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah. Now you could get back in that jaw box.
Will do.
All right. Matt, it brings us to a segment called
CinemaWAR.
CinemaWAR. It works like this. Me and Matt, we're battling on a topic. Our guest, Patrick, he gets to play judge and jury and tell the jawheads at home who he thinks won the CinemaWAR. It's important because we're fighting for 20 seconds of jaw time to rant and rave on whatever we want. Matt, there is a new Lego movie, a new Batman movie coming out. Elias, tell the jawheads at home what today's CinemaWAR topic is.
Today's CinemaWAR topic: can the new Lego Batman recapture the magic, or will everything not be awesome? Right, you'll be fighting for it will recapture the magic. Matt, you'll be fighting for it will not be awesome. Let's let this plastic brick of a CinemaWAR begin.
Rye, everything is not awesome this time around. Part of the magic of the original Lego movie was its unexpectedness. This one reeks of marketing.
Oh, holy Lego, Batman. We have our own movie. The Lego movie was a smash hit in 2014, making many top 10 lists and even topping some of those lists. Matt Kay. Everything in that movie was awesome, including Will Arnett's Batman. Having him back along with Zach Galifianakis, who is voicing the Joker, and Michael Cera as Robin. This is going to be hilarious.
I don't even need to name drop. This is a cash grab toy commercial. Plain and simple. The genius of the Lego movie was its ability to be subversive within the licensed property genre. This sequel looks to not even be attempting anything so highbrow.
No. You are so wrong, Matt. Now, if they keep making Lego movies, which I'm sure they probably will, the formula will start to get old. But not the case on the second one out of the gate. There will be plenty of tongue-in-cheek jokes concerning the Batman universe and the Lego world. This looks to be the perfect movie for both adults and kids to enjoy at the same time.
Batman was in the first Lego movie as a nod to how many kids mix and match universes while playing with the toy. We also saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Star Wars characters to boot. This time around, I hope you're ready for essentially a Lego DC universe, because from what I've seen, that's what we're getting.
All right, but Matt, Chris McKay is directing this. He works on Robot Chicken and is famous for making one of the Star Wars parody episodes, so he knows how to make this work. I mean, how many times would you like Hollywood to make a comedy about these superheroes that we see? Now is their chance, all inside the fun world of Lego. This is going to be awesome.
You can choke your Robot Chicken. When you catch lightning in a bottle with a film as fresh and honest as the original Lego film was, you can never go back again. It doesn't even look like they're trying in this at bat. Don't even expect a sequel in the strict sense, as the larger world-spanning Lego universe appears to be largely absent. If you like esoteric Batman jokes and you're tired of YouTube, then this movie's for you.
Matt, say what you will, Batman has the best films made about him when it comes to superheroes. Now we get to have a little fun with him in an animated comedy action. This is perfect. The Lego movie was perfect and awesome, and I'm sure the Batman Lego movie is going to be just as fun. Now get on the train and enjoy it, buddy. We are button heads here.
Bat nipples.
As always button heads here. We throw it to our guest, our jury this week. Patrick, what did you think of this CinemaWAR?
Oh, gosh. You both make some excellent points. I feel terrible about taking sides.
It's okay. It has to happen.
Yeah, right. I think I have to lean towards the side of optimism on this. So I think I have to go with Rye. Although I agree with you, Matt, that like the first one was lightning in a bottle, and this won't be that, but I think it could still be really good. Does that make sense?
No, it does, and I really hope it is. I had to pick a side, and
no, absolutely, yeah. No, you defended it well, but yeah, I think I have to go with Rye on this one.
Nice.
I'm optimistic as well.
Yeah, I agree. Lightning in the bottle, exactly what you guys are saying, but I'm optimistic as well. I think this is going to be a fun sequel that does earn me 20 seconds of jaw time to rant and rave on whatever I want.
Go on, Rye.
And you know how much I love the theater experience. And one thing I absolutely can't stand is when people sneak food into the theater.
Really?
And even worse, for some reason, they bring something that is in the most ridiculous packaging of all time, so that when they struggle to open the thing up. And I'm trying to enjoy the film Patterson, and it's a quiet film, right? This is a quiet movie. And I'm sitting there, and this guy takes almost 15 minutes to get the bag of whatever he's opening up, some cheap potato chips. And then he goes on to eat them, and all it is the sound of a bag going for literally 35 minutes while he keeps putting his hand in there. I can't even concentrate on the movie. Just look at this guy's.
So what do you suggest?
Hands.
A bowl, maybe?
Don't sneak food in the theater. This is what I was going to say. Don't eat, please. Geez, enjoy the film. You know, I don't even know how the guy could have liked Patterson. It's a quiet film, as I mentioned. And he's just chomping for 40 minutes. There's no way he heard any of the dialogue. He's just, and the bag ruined everybody else's experience.
Some people enjoy a snack when they're watching a film.
And then I know people are going to
You're
check their phones.
You're a curmudgeon. You're so mean.
Screw that. And the other thing is, I know people do check their phones and it annoys the hell out of us.
No, that's a different story.
I know, but how about this? It was the same guy that did this, and of course he's sitting in the front row. They always are.
Wow, what a pig this guy is.
You know, if you're going to check your phone, at least go and sit in the last row of the theater so you don't disrupt everybody checking your damn phone after you just got done eating your cheap bag of potato chips, you jag bag. All right.
Ooh,
got that out of my system.
wow.
Guy really ticked me off.
Should have got his name and number.
Well, he's not living
Send
anymore.
one of the hitmen after him.
Yeah. I took him out, Matt K.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, good. The movie hitman.
Yeah.
Rye the movie hitman guy.
Good stuff. All right. It brings us to trivia. Everybody loves playing a little trivia.
All right.
In honor of John Wick, we are playing John movie trivia. Think of famous John movie titles.
In the title.
In the title.
Okay.
Except for one question, but we'll get to that. It'll be explained.
I got it.
But we're playing John movie trivia. Patrick, you're our guest. You get to choose if you want to go first or let Matt go first. There are steals, and if you get hung up on a question, our engineer has clues to all the questions.
Matt, you can go first.
Okay.
He defers.
Okay.
Question number 1 over to Matt K. Matt, Denzel Washington starred in this 2002 film in which he took a hospital emergency room hostage.
I believe the title is just John Q.
We'll give that to you.
It's not John Q. Public?
No, it's John Q.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
1-0.
So you'll give it to him because it's the correct answer.
Exactly,
Okay,
because it's correct. You're on the board, Matt K. It is 1-0, Matt. Question 2 now over to Patrick. In 1999, John Cusack and Cameron Diaz starred in the film written by Charlie Kaufman in which they travel inside the head of a famous movie star. Name it.
Being John Malkovich.
John movie trivia. You liking it so far, Matt?
I am.
Yeah. It is 1-1. They always start off a little easy.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's about to take a turn right here.
Question 3 over to you, Matt. No, I think this one's also rather easy. Keanu Reeves actually starred in another John movie. It came out in 1995 in which he played a data courier. The masterful Dolph Lundgren was also in the film.
Masterful.
Yes, name it.
Johnny Mnemonic.
You see that? He's in 2 Johnny movies.
I'm a big William Gibson fan.
There you go. It is 2-1, Matt K. Let's see if everybody can stay perfect. Question 4 now moves over to Patrick. 2012's John Carter was supposed to turn this actor who played John Carter into the next big action star. Name him.
Taylor Kitsch.
Wow. Well done. I would not have come up with that.
You would have missed that probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one.
What happened to that guy?
Well, he was in that television show.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, but besides that, True Detective.
Oh,
Season
right.
2.
Yeah, that's
Season
right.
2, True Detective. But yeah,
Nobody saw that.
Well, that was a bad one. That was 2 bummers in a row because that season 2 wasn't that good, and John Carter was just a bomb. Even though I didn't think it was as bad as people made it out to be.
Yeah, no, I think
still
it's
had
kind of fun.
Yeah, I still had some fun with
it's
it.
finding its audience. It sort of is.
Yeah, I hope so.
Arguably.
Yeah. All right. Everybody perfect. Back to trivia here,
Okay,
Matt.
yeah,
Stop
let's get
talking
back
about
to it. Okay.
What the hell are you doing?
Stop talking about
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, Jesus. All right. It's 2-2. Question 5 now over to you, Matt. Some may say the title gives the ending away in this 2002 indie sci-fi film about a drug that sends its users across time and dimensions. Paul Giamatti has a small supporting role in it as well.
2002?
2012.
Oh, 2012.
Indie sci-fi film. Some may say the title gives the ending away.
John dies in the end.
We'll give it to you. John dies at the end.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, good enough. 3-2. Wow, everybody's still perfect. Pressure's on Patrick now. Question 6 is over to him. Patrick, name the actor who starred in the 2003 film Johnny English.
Rowan Atkinson.
I'm so glad you deferred because I would not have known your last two questions whatsoever.
He plays Mr. Bean.
I know who Rowan Atkinson is.
You wouldn't have got the name, though.
No.
Wow, this is great. It is 3-3, last two questions. This is fun. Question 7 over to Matt K. Matt, in 1991, Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer fall in love while working at a diner in this Gary Marshall-directed film. Name it.
What year?
1991.
Al Pacino.
Michelle Pfeiffer in a Gary Marshall-directed film. Patrick is... He doesn't have a poker face over there. You clearly know Patrick knows this one.
I'm all like, hoo-ah.
What year?
What are you talking
not
about
what year.
here?
What question number?
This is question 7.
All right, I'll go to the
Whoa, a trip to the ER. Elias Rodriguez, question number 7. What was the name of that Gary Marshall-directed film?
Your clue is Blank Muniz is a famous one.
What? It's baffling.
What the hell, Elias? I mean, as good as his silly cues are, this is terrible. Silly questions are good, but
Blank Muniz is a famous one.
I think if you know the title, that's a good clue.
Yeah.
Freddie got fingered? I have no idea.
So close.
It's
so
Freddie
close.
Muniz, right?
No, somebody got fingered. No, I know. It's not Freddie. It is
Frankie and Johnny.
Frankie Muniz. You see?
I was close.
Yeah, boy, that one killed you, Matt. That one killed you because now it is 4-3, Patrick, and he can win it on a walk-off here.
Here we go.
Or he can give a chance for you to steal. Question 8
Go for it, Patrick.
for the ball game. To Patrick. 2 famous Johns, John Cusack and John Travolta, have only appeared in one film together. It was a war movie, and it came out in 1998.
The Thin Red Line.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah. Wow.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. No hesitation at all.
Didn't need the ER either.
Yeah, did not need the ER. Patrick wins this one 5-3. Can we get a handshake, boys?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. If it came down to a tie, we call it a jawbreaker. This question would have been over to Matt K. Matt, better John movie, John Tucker Must Die or Johnny Dangerously?
Is John Tucker Must Die even a real movie?
It is.
Yeah.
I'll go Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah, it definitely
that's
is.
the correct
Yeah,
answer.
that is correct. That would have won the jawbreaker. The real jawbreaker is this: age of Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean himself. Patrick, you got a guess?
62.
That's a really good guess.
Elias, lock him in at 62. Matt, you got a guess?
I was going to say 60, so I'll just go with it. 6-0.
Why even guess? He's 62.
Really?
For real?
Nailed it right
Nailed
on
it.
the
That was blind luck.
Just turned. He turned 62 January 6th this year.
I always recognize his birthday.
His stand-up comedy is fantastic. I love him.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen his stand-up.
Well, it's more of like comedy special. He comes out and does like monologues and such, but it's hilarious.
I thought he always is Mr. Bean the whole time.
No. Just seek him out, man. He's a genius. There's no doubt.
Okay.
He's a genius.
Yeah, well, I'll have to. Anyways, Patrick wins this one 5-3. It was a good game.
It was.
John movie
done.
trivia.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It brings us to the end of another jaw. It goes so fast
it
when
happens
you're having
every
fun.
week.
I know.
Yeah.
Right when I'm enjoying myself, it comes to the end. Boy, oh
We can
boy.
write another segment if you want.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to start doing that.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes we've been going 2 hours, you know?
Yeah. Too long.
Too long. Boy, oh boy, we do have to thank our guest. Patrick, again, thanks for finally coming on Cinemajaw. This has been a blast.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I had a great time.
Good. Cool.
Yeah, all right. Well, before we get to the February riddle, one more time, we also got to thank all our sponsors.
Thanks to all the sponsors and the Chicago Podcast Co-op who help us get those sponsors.
We also got to thank the best engineer in the biz, Elias Rodriguez.
Thank you, guys. And Jawheads in Las Vegas and Boulder City, Nevada. I will be there for the Damn Film Festival this coming weekend.
Is it the Dam Film Festival?
The Dam Short Film Festival. Yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
by the Hoover Dam.
I gathered that. Yes. You take the Dam tour, take all the damn time you want on the Dam.
Oh, damn, that's funny. That brings us
February.
to the February riddle, Matt.
I have played 2 different presidents of the United States. One while he was in office, the other when he was out of office. I have played a famous director in a movie. I have been Brad Pitt's dad, and I have also been the father of a god. I have won Oscar and have played the character I won for in 3 different films. Who am I?
Good stuff. Now, Matt, usually right here I start saying, hey, you gotta like us over on iTunes and leave us a review and all that stuff. But we have some very exciting news, don't we, Matt?
Yeah, we're only going to do one thing a week. This week, Patreon.
Patreon? What the hell is Patreon?
Well, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/cinemajaw, and you can find out all about it. Basically, it's like Kickstarter, but for people who do stuff week after week like us.
So the Jawheads can support us in a simple, easy way.
Exactly. Yes.
Definitely. I listen to a ton of podcasts and love getting free, episodes every single week, and always look for a way to support them whenever they, give out merch. And Patreon, there are actual items that they could get for supporting the Jaw.
Yeah, we have some cool stuff. So do it. Check it out.
Yeah,
Patreon/CinemaJaw.
And if you do go to the website, you will see a video that Elias shot. All 3 of us are in it, and we thought it turned out pretty well. So let us know what you think, and please, anything you can do to support the show would be greatly appreciated.
Indeed.
So until next week, I'm Rye the Movie Guy.
I'm Matt K.
And keep on jawing about the movies.